heard someone tell you, stop worrying? How should I stop worrying? What are the tools? What are the techniques? How can I help myself, especially in those moments when I know that I'm worrying, but I don't know how to help myself? Hi everyone, this is me, Jyotika Bedi. I'm the founder of Happiness is Love. I'm here today to tell you that we make relationships better, and together we will learn, share first what worrying is, why excessive worrying actually hurts our well-being, and how to conquer worry. So first, let's begin with what is worry? Worry refers to thoughts, emotions, and images of a negative future. People may worry about a real or imagined future event. I do too. I'm sure you do too. And the problem really is that we all sometimes live either in the past or in the future. Often, we mistakenly believe that worry is useful in helping prevent undesired future events, to prepare or think through how we respond, but excess worry only propagates future worrying and is not really a useful coping mechanism or a strategy. So most of our worries mostly don't even come true. And it's like being on a rocking chair. I have a rocking chair behind me. It gives you something to do, but really takes us nowhere. So how much worrying really is too much worrying? Worries, doubts, and anxieties are completely normal. I'm here to tell you, we human beings have to experience the entire rainbow of emotions. So we cannot avoid or pretend that we don't worry, or we don't have self-doubt, or we don't have anxiety. We all do. But the question is, how much is too much? In fact, 38% of people worry about something or the other every single day. It's actually adaptive. It's beneficial to worry about things that could go wrong. It could be anything, and it is something. But sometimes what happens is we mistake this to believing that something in the future is going to happen for which I have no control, and I have to constantly worry about it. That might threaten my health or will derail my future. But normal worrying can become problematic when it's enduring and difficult to control. For example, if you worry about all the bad things that could happen, often imagining worst case scenarios, and you have anxious thoughts that interfere with your ability to regulate your emotions, like, it impacts your sleep, your food, or your enjoyment with your friends, then worrying has become a problem for you. And that's why anything that is in excess, anything that is unmanageable, needs your attention. Why is it so hard to stop worrying, you might be wondering? For us chronic warriors, I am guilty of the same, the idea that we could just stop worrying seems unlikely. And it's clear why. Worry is a negative thought pattern, and any thought pattern that we use over and over again gets hardwired in our brains. Once it's hardwired, it's harder to stop. And this is what happens. And that's why I was a chronic worrier, and I realized that I need to get the help. I need to make sure that I learn tools and techniques that can help me deal with my over-worrying problem. Stopping worrying also involves addressing our beliefs, our values, and our emotions. All things that keep the worry going long after it is useful. So stopping worry can require overhauling the way we actually think and behave. And I want to share some strategies with you that will help you to look at worrying from a different lens. Number one, ask yourself, where does your worry really stem from? Where does it come from? Psychologists like me tend to focus on psychological solutions to worry. Change your thoughts, stop the worrying cycle, etc. These are helpful anti-worry strategies. However, if you're caught up in a bad situation, finding the source of your worry and then taking action to change the situation can sometimes be the more effective strategy. The one way you can tell whether the worry is more situational versus more about the way you think is by asking yourself, is the worry general or is it specific? If you only tend to worry about one specific area of your life, it could be work or your relationship. However, you don't worry about everything else like health, money, etc., your worry might be better addressed by taking some sort of constructive action to change your situation. Ultimately, your thoughts are trying to protect you. So, first, ask yourself if there is something you can change in your life to stop this over worrying altogether. Or if you're like me and you tend to worry about most things, then working directly with your thoughts is likely to be most effective. In this case, the worry problem is likely arising from worrying patterns rather than specific events, and it takes awareness, acceptance, and then alteration. You need to alter the habit. You need to learn new healthy ways of challenging this pattern and then taking corrective action so that you can be less of a worrier like me today. Number 2, explore your worry triggers. Sometimes finding the source of your worry is easy. It could be the job, it could be the partner or the kids, or maybe a financial issue, or the origins of your worry may be more complicated, hidden, and therefore difficult to stop. Either way, before working on stopping your worrying, it is useful to investigate what is causing your worry until you get a clearer picture of what's driving your worrying. And I speak to so many people, and sometimes people are just clueless. They're all over the place, and I was too, where my thoughts are distorted and I really don't know what exactly am I worrying about. So it is helpful to explore, let's say, explore worry at work. Perhaps a work group you're a part of is amping up your stress. Perhaps you could ask to be moved to a different group, or perhaps you could negotiate more work from home and flexi time. Explore worrying at home. Perhaps you have stressful, maybe in-laws or a partner or a sibling or screaming children. I have 3, so I know there's never a dull moment. Have you considered learning assertion, learning assertive communication? It's something that is going to help you. Maybe this will help you cut down your worry and help you deal with stressful situations, because you will have the tools to assert yourself and ask for what you want and need in the most respectful and honest way. Once you've done what you can to change the worrisome situation, which in many cases may not be much, believe me, it's time to start working on your worrying thoughts. Because everything really begins from our thoughts, and we have to check in with ourselves to check the quality of our thoughts. And here are again those quick strategies that I have, which have helped me, and I'm here to share with you, which are again psychologically proven. They're research backed, so please try them. Reach out to us and tell us if they have worked out for you. Calm the worry in your body. This is something that has really helped me. One way to stop worrying is by engaging in meditation. Meditation could be just a meeting with yourself, sitting in silence, unplugging yourself and directing your thoughts elsewhere. You can begin to soothe the body and halt the worrying cycle. Over time, we can train the mind to just observe our thoughts and calm our body without getting stuck in our worrying, because our thoughts control our feelings and our feelings control our action. So if I'm aware of the quality of my thoughts, which I can correct, which I can check, which I can challenge, I will automatically change how I feel, and then I will take corrective action. To practice meditation, all you need is just maybe an app, a comfy spot, and it could be, or maybe watching a meditation video to just help organize and manage your thoughts better. In fact, I have this chair here behind me, and this is both my meditation chair and my worrying chair. Sometimes I just assign myself that half an hour of the day when I'm feeling worried, and I tell myself, okay, this is my time to just rock on my chair, and I'm making a choice. I'm allowing myself to be a worrier for some time, and it works. It really helps me. It helps me identify my worrying patterns. Worry comes from negative thinking, mostly about the future, and it can make the future seem more threatening than it really is. And there are some negative overthinking patterns that lead to more worrying. And see if these resonate with you. These are the ones that you need to work on in order for you to reduce your worrying. And let's talk about them. Let me share with you in the most simplistic fashion. Rumination. Rumination is when we think about something distressing over and over and over and over again. You do it, I do it, we all do it. We think about what we could have done differently or how it could have turned out differently. Catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is when we expect the worst possible outcome from every situation. And this becomes a habit where we only think of the worst case in every situation. And what does this do? This only amplifies my anxiety and my worrying. Then there's something called minimizing. Minimizing is when we downplay positive qualities and attributes or experiences or strengths because we're too wired and focused only on the unpleasant. Suppression. Suppression involves trying not to show or express negative emotions. For example, we may be upset with our boss. However, we will not try to show our emotions on the face or in our words, but stuff those feelings inside. And you know what happens when you stuff your feelings? When you stuff them, eventually you become a pressure cooker and those feelings will explode. And that's why we do the work that we do at Happiness is Love, where we help you deal with your emotions in a healthy way, where we give you tools that can help you manage your emotions in a healthy way. Experiential avoidance. Experiential avoidance involves trying not to feel negative emotions. For example, we may try to push away negative emotions and sometimes engage in maybe alcohol or any kind of maybe drugs so that we don't feel those negative emotions. All or nothing thinking. All or nothing thinking is when we view a situation as either good or bad. And as we know, life is in between. We need to understand that life has different shades of gray. We cannot categorize everything as right or wrong or black or white. Distraction. Distraction is when we avoid experiencing our emotions by doing something else. Distraction is not always bad, but it is usually ineffective when we are trying to avoid feeling our feelings. And like I always say, we are human. We are supposed to experience the entire rainbow of emotions. We are not here to suppress, fight, block, hide, or pretend. Feel your feelings. Don't become your feelings. It's okay to feel the fear. It's okay to feel the anxiety. However, we don't have to become the feeling. We have to learn how to deal with the feeling, to acknowledge the feeling, to accept the feeling, and then take corrective action so that I can manage or release that feeling in a way so that I feel more calm inside. So, for example, a woman may get into a fight with her husband, but instead of talking to him and trying to resolve the emotion, she distracts herself and just goes and shops. This approach sometimes leaves negative emotions unresolved. Overgeneralization. Overgeneralization is when we believe that negative experiences means we will always have this negative experience. For example, if you've had a bad relationship, we may suspect that all relationships we have in the future have to be bad. So this comes from a place of overgeneralization. External attribution for good things. External attribution is the belief that good things that happen to us are controlled by forces and circumstances outside of us, that we're just lucky because we don't give ourselves enough credit. And that's why we dismiss the good and we only focus on the bad. Internal attribution for the bad things. Internal attribution is the belief that the bad things that happen to us are controlled by us. It's our fault that bad things happen. And one thing that I'm guilty of that I want to share with you is mind reading. Mind reading is when we think we know what others are thinking about us, but we haven't actually asked them. So we're coming from a place of assumption. It's just a hunch, and I'm not even asking the other person, but I am being very smart and thinking, I am a good mind reader. I know exactly what the other person is thinking, and this is a trap. Next, self-criticism. Self-criticism is when we beat ourselves over and over again for the smallest mistakes. For example, I can't believe I did that again. I'm such a moron. We all do this. I'm guilty of the same. Is it helpful? Not really. So fifth, it's very important to challenge your worrying patterns. What evidence do I have that these thoughts are true? Let me check in with myself and challenge this negative thought process. Ask yourself, what is a positive version of this thought? Can this thought have a positive version? Challenge yourself, push your boundaries. Growth really happens outside your comfort zone. This is what I did and it worked for me. What's the likelihood that this thought will come true again? Question yourself, challenge yourself, do a self-audit. Is this thought helpful? This one is the most helpful for me. I remind myself that worrying just makes things worse and does me no good. That helps And just knowing this helps me calm my worrying down. To work on changing your worrying pattern, make a chart. You can make a chart and just chart out during the day how many times are you being prey or you are falling trapped to your worrying patterns, and then it takes 3 weeks to build a habit. I believe in you. I trust you. I know if you set your mind out to do this, because nothing changes until you change. And if you decide, if you make the decision to change this worrying pattern in you, you can achieve anything. Ask yourself, is the situation controllable or not? If you're worried about something that you can fix, you might be better off fixing it than letting the worried thoughts dominate you. Procrastination is a good example. Instead of worrying about the things you need to do, you need to just do it, and that will help the worrying go away. We feel stuck because we are stuck. We're just feeling the feeling, and there's a gap between feeling the feeling and taking action. We just constantly keep feeling the worry, but we don't move to the action part where I need to take steps. I need to move for me to take action so that I feel better and I can combat my worrying. Maybe you're worried about something you have no control over. I recall a period when my husband and I were considering, taking help because we were going through this tough time. And at that point, I realized that I could only be myself and I had no control over his decisions. I had control over changing my own patterns. It actually felt good and it was empowering, but I was able to let go of my fears about what could happen and accept whatever was coming my way. And I experienced magic because just changing the way I was thinking, changing my narrative by challenging my negative thoughts and my negative beliefs and some assumptions or overgeneralizations that were not serving me and my relationship, I was able to transform myself and my relationship. And because I have done it, I know you can too, and I'm here for you to support you. And if you're struggling in any aspect of your life, please reach out to us. And I'm going to tell you the simple techniques, which is stop worrying and exercise. We all know this. However, knowing is not doing. I got to do. No change happens until action is taken. Action has to be taken for us to feel better. When you're worrying intensely, your physiology is all messed up. Simply stopping the thoughts doesn't help those neurochemicals disappear in your body any faster. That's why doing something with your body can really help with worrying. And believe me, there are times when I'm feeling anxious and I'm worrying. You know what I do? And my kids laugh, but I do it. I do 5 jumping jacks wherever I'm at. And believe me, it just changes my brain's wiring. It changes how I feel in my body because I have taken action. I have moved my body for me to not feel stuck. Exercise helps with anxiety because it releases. Now, we all know exercising is important, but why? What does it do? It helps release endorphins, which activates happy hormones in our system, and it relieves stress and helps you feel more centered and calm. So try to notice your breath, your heart beating, or how your body is moving, and you will see magic happen in your life. Try deep breathing. This is something which is so powerful and yet so underrated. Just 5 breaths. Just inhale positivity and just exhale out whatever you're feeling. Just take it out. And most effective, talk about your worries. Talking with trusted friend or counselors or video call, even just chatting with someone can help you gain more perspective and help you challenge your thoughts. Keeping worrying suppressed, or you sometimes may be feeling overwhelmed because you're keeping it inside you. Just be cautious. We are here for you. If you are finding it difficult and you feel that you have no one to talk to, please reach out to us. Set a time limit on your worrying. This is what I do. When I sit on that chair and I tell myself this is my worrying time, make sure you set a limit on your worrying. If you're not careful, worrying can suck up a lot of time. Like I said, it's like sitting on a rocking chair. It gives you something to do but takes you nowhere. By setting a time limit on your worrying, you allow yourself some time to worry and then you tell yourself it's time to let go. During this time, you could write down your worries. Then it can trick your mind, letting it know it doesn't have to think about the worrying anymore and can go on with life and take action. You can go over your past worry list and cross out the things that no longer bothering you or didn't turn out as bad as you thought. This can help teach your brain that these worries weren't really necessary at all. I hope this video has helped one and all. I really enjoyed sharing my experiences and tools with you. I hope they are useful to you. If yes, please reach out to us. Give us your feedback. Tell us your success stories. Tell us if you're struggling with any aspect of your life. We are here because we care, and we at Happiness believe that together we are building a better, kinder, happier, and a less worrying generation. Thank you for all the love and support. Keep smiling, keep shining, keep inspiring.